went to the studio and I said, let's not just do another movie. Let's swing for the fences.
I think what people are in store for is Avatar, but times 100. It takes it to a whole other place.
I've never seen anything like this in a movie. It picks up where it left off, and he just...
It was wild. My eyes were glued to the screen, and I can't wait for people to see it.
The world is bigger. The stakes are higher.
This is our home!
I was always looking at everything in wonder.
What Jim is trying to create is very truthful, very emotional and grounded tales.
I need you to be strong.
A family trying to survive.
Strong heart.
It's really got this level of magic and crazy.
It takes years to make these movies, but there's nothing like this.
It was the experience of the first movie, but on steroids.
Saving their lives, that's all that matters.
I have had to work completely differently than I ever have before, and it's been an amazing experience to go back in time.
Why am I different?
Saying to me, you're really only 14 the way you act most of the time, so you can do this. I think a lot of us remember that age in a very vivid way where you don't feel you can fit in. We talked originally about just this girl who was more at home in the forest, more at home with the plants than with people.
I come from a family of matriarchs mostly, so tapping into that was very rewarding for me. Now that I'm a mother, becoming Neytiri was really inward journey for me that I've been able to benefit still to this day.
Steven, you're coming back in this movie. Tell us about that a little bit.
I know you're all asking yourselves the same question. Why so blue?
To take a character who represents the most kind of antiquated and limited point of view of a planet, which is Quaritch in the original Avatar, and by placing him within the context of a Na'vi body, it advances Quaritch's own point of view. He is brain-locked on mission, always has been. That's not the case anymore. There are worms of doubt. The planet is really, really working on him.
It's fantastic to see that everything we worked on so hard, this is what it gives the audience.
Kitty, hey. Hey. Kitty. Are you okay?
I was doing that thing again, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were.
I remember having lunch with Jim. He started to talk about this kind of forest girl who had a special gift of connection with living things. And she's going to be about 14. And you and I know how immature you are. So I think you can handle this. I said, thank you.
When you see Sigourney play a character a quarter of her actual age flawlessly, she steeped herself in the ways of teen girls.
I'm on.
But unconsciously, she just became younger. It was crazy to observe.
Why can't I just be like everyone else? Oh, Katie. I don't think any of us are very far away from our 14-year-old selves. It's such a strong memory, how great it was and how awful it was. And I just sort of fell in love with the character. Jim has this amazing ability to write straight into the heart of a character. Why am I different?
Performance capture gives actors the opportunity to play characters that they could not otherwise play. And Kiri's character and Sigourney's performance are the perfect example of that, given by one of the great actresses of our time.
Where's Spider?
They took him.
I have had to work completely differently than I ever have before because you do have to strip away all of that Sigourney Weaver, whoever that is. And it's been an amazing experience to go back in time and be with that person every day.
She clicks into the character that she is, and it's like talking to a 14-year-old. I find it fascinating that she can channel this young girl. Whatever it is, I'm enjoying watching it.
So what does Ava's heartbeat sound like?
Mighty. She's marvelous. To watch her, it's such a work of art. You're watching like a flower unfold, and all of a sudden you do not recognize that you are talking to a woman that is 5'10", that has walked this earth for decades and has made her mark.
There so clearly is mischievous little girl in Sigourney. She can be as imperious as you want, and she can also be a complete knucklehead.
It's a big journey for her and for the audience with her, but it's okay because you care about her. She has a luminous quality.
To see her playing a 14-year-old kid, it was magic. It's what acting is all about.
Avatars only, go round.
In making a movie set on Pandora, Pandora doesn't exist. Which means we are not only designing everything in the world piece by piece, but building it, either in a virtual world or practically on physical sets.
One of the main challenges of designing something from the ground up is not just the design itself, but it's all the details.
To design every single thing in a world, every blade of grass, every leaf, every flower, every bug, it's daunting, but it's fun.
The challenge of designing for Jim, whether it's on the technical side or the natural side, is in Jim's mind, all this stuff is real. We're not making a movie, we're filming some reality that just happens to exist on another planet.
We decided that there were two worlds in collision. So you've got the human world, which is highly technological and highly recognizable to us. And then we split off the world of Pandora, the Na'vi, the creatures, the plants, everything in it.
We're introduced to this whole new world where we have beautiful tropical islands, but also there's a culture that lives in this very large mangrove called the Metcaina. And they have built their whole village suspended over the water under these roots. What's beautiful about Reef Village is that it very much exemplifies the Na'vi belief in connectivity.
This is our home now.
When we are designing creatures for Avatar, we often start with metaphors. The Tulkun is evocative of a whale, but when you look at it, this is not a whale at all. There's many, many different things different with it. You may not literally know exactly what is referencing, but you feel it.
Jim gives so much thought to everything that he does, and he expects our stuff to measure up to that level of realism and to be something that the audience just doesn't question. Hell's Gate, as formidable as it may have seemed in Avatar 1, was just a tiny piece of what the RDA is doing. It wasn't the full might that's available back on Earth. The RDA has a lot of money, and they're not messing around, and they're not going to make the same mistake twice. So when they come back on a whole different scale.
Artist, painter, designer, etc. But I don't think I designed anything on these films. Why would I? I get to work with the best artists in the world. You see these designers, just their brains are exploding with ideas. I just wish I could write a story so comprehensive that I can use all their ideas, but it's just not possible. We had a costume designer, Deborah Scott, Academy Award winner I'd worked with since Titanic. She had to kind of have a foot in both worlds because she had to design all the costumes for the RDA, but she also had to have the whole other half of her brain to design all the costumes and jewelry and hair designs and hair decoration and everything for the Na'vi.
Costume design is one of the most important parts of expressing a character, how a person dresses, what their clothes signify in a clan, people who perform different functions, the leader, the fisherman, a child, that all these people have a different place in the clan. We researched indigenous people literally worldwide. The environment in which the clans live is extremely important to what they wear. So the Amatacayan are forest people. They use things from the Pandoran forest. The Makaina are much more adapted to water.
You are not good divers. Maybe good at swinging through trees, but
One of the main reasons that we've made the garments to completion is the motion of the garment cannot be understood without having the whole piece. So if something's heavy or feathery or light or stringy or fringy, the way these things move in air, standing in a breeze, underwater for sure, which is a huge part of the movie, you really have to have the sample to see what happens to it.
I honestly believe that being able to create the garments in their full glory, as opposed to just a piece of 2D concept artwork, is changing the way that digital films will be made. Every fabric and every woven piece or every braid and feather, they all have their own life to them. They all move in their own way. And that's not something you can get from just looking at a piece of artwork and translating that to a screen.
We work with Weta Digital on a constant basis. Even the smallest thing like a necklace goes for scanning, where they can actually map it. They read the texture, they read the color, and then they use all of that information in a virtual world. That believability, that reality that we're managing to bring to the movie is 100% going to make it just more real for everyone.
You need all the things that you'd have in the ocean, but in a controlled environment.
We ended up going for a 90-foot long tank, which is 40 foot wide, and it's a monstrous tank. It's 675,000 gallons of water.
Stage 18 tank was all the departments coming together and saying, we're gonna need to build the wave maker like this. We're gonna need to build the current movers this way. We're gonna need to build a center island so that once we build it, we know it's all gonna work.
Here we are, first day of the big tank, and we're doing it. That's looking good. So thanks everybody.
Going to the water tank for the first time, I had that butterfly feeling again because it was going into the unknown. It is massive.
Nobody had ever done performance capture in water before, and we couldn't have done it without the cast wanting to learn how to free dive. They would do their breathe up at the surface, and when they went underwater, they became the character and were able to give a performance the same as if they were standing on a stage.
Oh my God, the liquid volume. I was always looking at everything in wonder. Just like, what is this?
If we'd done this on wires, it would look hokey. If we tried to do this any other way instead of being legit, it wouldn't be a James Cameron film.
The underwater performance capture, first of all, it's a huge amount to think about. So there's not just the physical challenge of holding your breath. There's then the added challenge of acting out a scene underwater where everything is very different. You're having to imagine coral reefs, you're having to picture other Na'vi swimming around you. Then you have the challenge of your movements are very, very different underwater, finding that serenity and that calm. So there's all of that to take care of.
And that's what you're after, just the truthful sensation. And that truth is what you need to make these movies work.
What Jim wanted to do is give the actors an environment that was going to be as realistic as possible, build sets, and give them the ability to swim through the water and give it waves and current and everything.
We had decks that had this unistrut system built that were on gantries and chain motors so that we could lift them up and build the set on top of it above the water and then lower them back down once the set was built.
That system has the ability to also tilt those platforms, and a lot of times we will need that relationship with interacted topography.
Something really special happened when we reunited for Avatar 2.
Zoe and me were always just very close, and that gave us absolute freedom to just bounce off each other and enjoy the ride.
I don't think they quite realized how much they had been in training for this movie for the past 13 years as parents. We couldn't have planned it better if I'd said, okay, what I need you guys to do is find somebody you really love and get married and have some children, and that's your prep for the next movie.
She's now had several children. I've had several children. When we get back into this world, it's like putting on an old pair of gloves. You just have a trust for each other.
I think they started to get it when they read the script, but I don't think they really got it until they were on set with the young cast that play their children and realized, oh yeah, I've said that.
Well, I hate you times infinity!
Hey, that's enough. Don't make me come over there. But given Jake and Neytiri kids, this one opens up all the trials and tribulations that come with having family.
Now the stakes are higher. Now their children are everything. They've managed to find their own version of happiness.
Till the Sky people come back.
The design of the Tulkun has been one of the biggest challenges on this project. We knew we needed not only a creature, but also a character and an intelligent species. We knew the analogy was whale, but the challenge was how alien do you get?
The assignment when I came on board was to try and take a whale creature and push it. This was a sketch that Jim had started that through our process, I've just kind of helped puzzle things together. And it's been inch by inch design.
This is an occasion of having design had to jump through many different storytelling needs. First and foremost is the sensor crest. It's an auditory sensor that plays very much into the Tulkun hunt. We needed Loak to be able to ride on a fin and look Hayakon in the eye. And that was a challenge because having a fin that close to the eye is kind of weird. So we ended up making a smaller cephalic fin that is almost kind of right behind the jaw. And so this spatial relationship was a challenge to get and was actually defined, in some of the first scouts to the Bahamas.
It's one thing to design all these worlds and characters, but like how are we actually going to do
13 years ago, and we were welcomed in such a warm way. It just feels like it's a gift that keeps on giving.
What I can tell you about this film is the sparks fly.
I feel very proud to be here. I love the movie that we've created, and now we get to share it.
Hello, everybody.
I've never seen anything so incredible.
This is very special. Thank you, Korea.
I see you. I see all of you. Thank you so much.
I can feel your excitement about the movie. It means so much to me.
The response of the fans is so passionate and welcoming.
I'm so proud of these people that I have the privilege to stand here with. Give a big round of applause to this amazing cast.
This right here, to be on this carpet, is a magnificent moment.
Good things are always worth the wait.
It really doesn't matter what part of the globe you're from. When you see Pandora, it just has an overwhelming effect.
It's so exciting to finally get to share this movie with audiences around the world.
Tonight is the night. Are you ready? Are you really ready?
This family is our fortress. This movie is about protecting your family and protecting those that you love. This is so much love coming at us, and it's quite something. Look, just have a great time with this film. You're going to get carried away back to Pandora, and it's truly, we're really looking forward to seeing how much Korea loves the movie.
There's a scene between Jake Sully and Kiri that's played by Sigourney Weaver and Sam Worthington. And he's asking her, how does Awa feel like? And she says, mighty. I know that you're going to remember that moment because that's exactly how you're going to be feeling as you're watching the movie. And I mean it with a lot of humility, no arrogance at all. It is that special.
There's a moment when my character, Colonel Quartz, steps off the galactic transport and he looks around and he breathes in the air of Pandora. And we look forward to you all stepping off this transport and breathing in the luxurious air of Pandora. Remember, you're all seeing the film 2 days before the rest of the world. So don't call your friends in America and in Britain and give anything away, okay? Let's all keep it between ourselves.
When you see the movie, you will go under the ocean and you will live in the ocean for a lot of the time. And one of the great characters, he's too big to get on stage with us tonight because he's very whale-like. But you see a friendship between a Na'vi boy and Payakan. And Payakan becomes, in a way, the hero of this movie. So I want you to remember you're going to meet a very special character that Jim has written and has been beautifully played by various people, I guess. Anyway, Kevin Dornan. And wait till you meet Payakan. He's just so wonderful and vulnerable. So enjoy.
I've seen the movie 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. There's one scene, and I can't tell you what it is. Every time I see it, I cry. Every time. And for the rest of my life, every time I see it, I will cry. It's because of these two actors right here that do something so extraordinary that it hits me in the heart every time, and I've seen it 1,000,000 times. So I know it's going to get you too. And you know the one I'm talking about.
I'm not saying goodbye. I'm saying until next time. I look forward to being back here.
Well, Ngati Kamaye, we see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Korea. We love you.
Merry Christmas and enjoy the movie. And we can't wait to come back, and thank you for the warmest welcome and such good wishes. Thank you.